Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1066, written by Anonymous. The Twilight Zone on the L train. 3 stops at First Avenue. I live in New York City. The L train runs from Brooklyn to Manhattan under the East River. In Manhattan, the stops are First Avenue, 3rd, then Union Square, which is a major transfer point. During morning rush hour in 2012, I was in a packed L train which emerged from the East River at First Avenue, opened its doors as per usual, closed them, then proceeded along the track as per usual. About 30 seconds later, the train stopped and the announcer said, "First Avenue, 3rd Avenue next, stand clear." I looked around a bit stunned, but the bleary-eyed passengers were mostly staring into their phones. I imagined I must have gotten confused. The doors closed again. The train took off down the track, slowed down, stopped, and opened its doors. The announcer said, "First Avenue, 3rd next, stand clear." This time, I poked my head out quickly and saw it definitely was First Avenue. I spoke up, shyly, to no one in particular. "Hey, did anyone notice we stopped at First Avenue 3 times?" But just one of 2 people kind of looked up quizzically and then evaded eye contact. The doors then closed. The train took off, slowed down after 30 seconds or so, and opened. 3rd Avenue, Union Square next, stand clear. The train then continued west down the track, normal as could be. For years I've thought about this event. I was there, cognizant and clear-eyed as ever, clutching a coffee, but I've never found any explanation. Case notes for file 1066. The Twilight Zone on the L train? 3 stops at First Avenue? Yeah, this is just wild. There's another story I read somewhat recently involving a train repeating a station too, but only once. And if I recall, the person never asked anyone if they saw anything odd. They were a bit too shy, more shy than you, I guess, to ask. But no one reacted as if the stop repeated. People can be lost in their minds for sure, even in 2012. Most people would have podcasts in, music, etc. I could see people missing it once, but to repeat the same station twice is baffling. You definitely notice that, even if you're caught in your music. Case file number 1067, written by LaptopArmageddon. My art creations vanish from the internet. I had drawn 2 pictures like a month or so ago and recently needed some information I had typed down when I showed them to some friends online. The thing was, I couldn't find the images anywhere. I checked my chat histories on things like Discord and my texts. Hell, I even tried to find the Reddit, Twitter, and Tumblr posts I had made, but there was nothing. I had printed them out at some point and they were pinned to a cork board. Guess what? Fucking gone. My family didn't remember putting the images up for me. Even the art program I used to draw them, Ibis Paint X, didn't have the images. I have no reason to delete them from anywhere, and yet not a single site or application I had posted these pictures in had them. I could understand one thing, but everywhere? Literally everywhere? People I asked said they remembered vaguely seeing the images, but couldn't find them as well. Seriously, not a single person could find proof these images existed. The only way I know they exist is because I have them in my gallery. I still don't know why or where these posts and messages went, or why specifically these 2 images decide to be fucking purged from literally everywhere, but I felt like I'm going crazy. Case notes are file 1067. My art creations vanish from the internet. So the obvious suspect is quantum immortality, and you do have the images still in your gallery. It's just from any place you uploaded them or created them, they're not there, saved anywhere. People do remember also that you showed them the images before, but you say vaguely. So maybe it is in a different universe where somehow you just never used any of those apps and never saved them. The people you showed maybe was from a while back, and so they only vaguely remember it. But it does strike me as quantum immortality. I can't think of anything else. What kind of glitch would cause images to just not be there anywhere from one site maybe, but not from multiple plus offline apps? I don't know of a glitch that would cause that unless it's deliberate intervention from the server developers, but why would they want to do that? I don't think they want to suppress your art that much. You know, the suppressed artist? I don't think that's the case. Case file number 1068, written by Geoffistopheles, How My Dream Helped Me Cheat Death. When I was 16, I had a dream. I was riding my bike down an unfamiliar road with library books. I had just checked them out from the library behind me, near the baseball stadium. There's a four-way stop ahead of me, and my view of the road to the right is blocked by trees. As I approach the intersection, I don't really make much of an attempt to slow down. Everyone's got to slow down. The only traffic on the road is going the same direction I am, and even if there was cross traffic, they'd have to stop too. By the time I notice the olive green SUV, it's too late. The driver ran the light, easily going double the limit. They slammed into me, pinballing me into a nearby pole, then into a fire hydrant. My bike is crumbled on top of me. There's no question that I didn't survive. And yet, the most absurd thing is that just before the accident, my vision stopped. Just before I crossed the road, as my body was flung away, I simply stood there like a neutral observer. It was like watching the instant replay death cam and just waiting to respawn. It was an odd dream, to be sure, but one I wrote off as having an overactive imagination. After all, that scenario just wouldn't play out. I lived in the opposite direction, and it was far enough away that I'd simply drive instead. Good attempt, brain, but you won't fool me. I'm 19, attending community college locally. My family had errands to do in that part of town, and it wasn't really anything I could help with after half an hour. However, I'd recently taken to checking out CDs from the library to burn to my collection later, and since my bike was still in the van, I might as well bike the mile or two down to the library. I hadn't found anything worth listening to that I didn't already have, but I did find a few books to my liking. I rode my bike back, the library behind me, the stadium further back. The only traffic was going the same direction, and there's no one else on the road. Not that I could really tell. There were trees blocking my view, and I couldn't really hear anything over the cars passing me. I came to the intersection, and a wave of terror just hit me with full force. I slammed on the brakes at that stop sign. For a split second, I wondered what the hell I was doing. And then, an olive green SUV, easily going 50 in a 25 zone, roared past the trees. Thanks to my sudden stop, they barely avoided clipping my front tire. I damn near fell off my bike shaking. I dragged it to the sidewalk, sitting on the grass, watching the cars go by, and just waiting for the adrenaline to calm down enough that I could get back. Two cars come to the stop sign. The first one passes the intersection. I saw my body, crumpled by the fire hydrant. The second car passes in front of me, and it's gone. Case notes for file 1068. How My Dream Helped Me Cheat Death. So I think your dream was your mind accessing hidden information from at least one buffered universe, maybe just this one, but I think they're pooled together. It's all out there. We just can't decode it. I think dreaming is, in part, that, the process of understanding that information. Yes, we sleep to repair our bodies, organize our own memories of the day, but I think it's even more than that. There's a reason some of the brightest minds come up with brilliant ideas while they're sleeping, or just after waking up. The mind is super active when we're in REM sleep stages. I think trying to peer beyond our basic senses and access the full breadth of knowledge out there. It's pretty awesome. Of course, I never remember my dreams, so my subconscious is just saying, that would be too easy. I'm not going to give you that information, so go without it. So unfair. And now time for the quote of the day. It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices. Dumbledore. Harry Potter. My childhood in a nutshell. And gave me justification for being the rebel that never obeyed the rules. Never did anything bad, not truly bad, just being, the rebel without a cause as a teenager. Can you see me as that? Probably most can't. They see me as a goody two-shoes, right? We won't speak of it. But yes, I agree with the Great Wizard. Like the video, subscribe. Kinetic Symphony signing off.